we got you. Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool. Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey, Edmonton, thinking about your next SUV? Think Subaru. The Subaru Forester has earned an IIHS top safety pick or higher for 20 years in a row. Add legendary Subaru symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and the 2026 JD Power Canada Best Residual Value Award among compact SUVs, and you've got an SUV that's built to protect today and hold its value tomorrow. This month, take advantage of loyalty rates as low as 0.99%. Come test drive the Forester at your local Subaru dealership today. Welcome to Uncommon.
Professional golf is coming to Blackhawk Golf Club this fall. The ATB Classic, presented by Building Trades of Alberta, brings the stars of PGA Tour Americas to you. Enjoy the ATB Fan Zone, presented by Michelob Ultra, where golf meets festival vibes. Upgrade to VIP-covered terrace seating with premium food and beverage options. September 17th to 20th. Tickets start at just $25, and the first 250 buyers receive a PGA Tour America's commemorative gift. Get yours at atbclassic.com.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please.
The Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440. Brought to you by Wilhuck Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
Brought to you by Wilhuck Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Shout out to Trent coming by yesterday, dropping off the goods. The only reason I'm holding this bag that there's any left is because I hid it from the Stingray staff here yesterday, so the Tom Gazzola Show and company could grab some today. And there's just the scraps left as everyone's getting after it. Go check them out. Only available in Leduc, WilhockBeefJerky.com. Connor Halley, Donovan Paulson, Connor Spivak, Josh Fenwick, Cam Tate in studio here in West Edmonton Mall. Hope you guys are having a great start to your Wednesday. We're just about at the midpoint of the week. Lots to get to on the show today. Of course, hey, we're 2 weeks away from the start of the NFL season. Super Bowl rematch. Should be fun. We got the Patriots and the Seahawks September 9th. Can't believe this is flying by. Training camps are done. Teams prepping for their final preseason. They'll have that little week off in between where you and I will enjoy Labor Day classics in the CFL. And then all of a sudden, we got football. It's going to be here in no time. Of course, we've got the Frenzy Fantasy League you can get in on as well. If you want to join, it's very simple. Well, to a certain extent. To get your qualifications, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is e-transfer $20 to Connor at sports1440.ca. That's going to get you one entry. If you want to stuff the ballot box and, put in 200, obviously, math tells you get 10 entries. And we can load it up from there. We're going to be doing that all week next week, getting set up for it. And then on the 4th, we will be doing our draw. So, second segment, 11:20, next Friday, we'll pull out 10 names to join us in the league. I have a team along with Brandon. We'll buy an entry, though, don't worry. And then we've also got our defending champion, the Defenders, who also bought a ticket and get their spot back in the league. The winner of the league always gets their spot back in. If you haven't joined us before, it's a lot of fun. Half the money is going to go to the Canadian Cancer Society. The other half will go to the winner. Now, if we get to the final and maybe you guys want to make a side deal where $40 goes to the second place team, I can't stop you. But in our league, officially, the winner takes all. Connor at sports1440.ca, that's where you can e-transfer. Include your email. So if we do select you, we can make sure we get you all the contact info. The draw will be the Friday. The draft will be the following Tuesday, because of the long weekend. And then the season will get started on the Wednesday. So we hope to get you guys in there. Whole lot of fun. I'm sure you guys all know because you're all fantasy football fiends. We've also got Donovan Paulson hanging out beside me. Donovan, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Cons. We're chilling. We're having a nice morning. We've been coughing in the studio the last number of hours, myself and Tater, but we're riding along. We're chilling. We're having some fun, and we had a great morning of jam-packed guests and a great show.
We've got you to my right, Tater to my left, just coughing. So
Yeah, you're right in the middle.
inevitably, it's coming my way, Tommy's way, maybe Low Tide's way, as we roll through this day. On the show today, we'll continue our look around the NFL training camps. Took a little day off yesterday to talk some fantasy football, but today Alan Saunders is going to join us. He's covered the Pittsburgh Steelers for a long time. There's lots to discuss. They've got contract talk. They've got a quarterback who says he's in his final year, but then maybe a couple guys who could be nominees to be the quarterback of the future, a new head coach, a new receiver. There's lots to discuss when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we'll discuss all of that coming up in the second segment. Trailer Park Ryan says, hey, just checking to see if you guys got my second $100 donation. I used the word donation there. Yes, Ryan. So you've got 10 entries. Yeah, you have kind of found your way in the ballot box quite nicely. If you're unable to get in, something went wrong. But we've got lots of time to take those donations, get your entries in there. I've got it all locked up. I think we're up to about $500 total. So right now that's $250 to the Canadian Cancer Society, and then another $250 right now to the winner. Today, I wouldn't say there's nothing too crazy going on here. We're gonna have Canada taking on South Korea or Japan at the Little League World Series. That starts at 3:00. We were watching them play South Korea yesterday, getting out of jams, making things happen, taking advantage of the miscues from South Korea. That was a lot of fun. Donnie, I don't know if you were watching at all, but Little League World Series is fun because it's just like they're good, but there's still going to be little errors that lead to fun.
I caught the highlights after the fact because I was watching the Jays and there was more focus on that, but I did catch the highlights. It was, from what I saw, it was a blast. It's exactly what you would expect. A bunch of short little 12-year-olds having some fun out there and playing some baseball while being also shockingly good all at the same time. And you basically think of like junior hockey, but just a lot shorter, more mistakes and more fun, more emotions.
Yeah.
You're going to see the entire emotional roller coaster. You're going to see kids pounding their chests, throwing their arms up in the air and doing all this weird arm action stuff. It's just a bunch of kids who have, they're 12, so you're going to see a lot of immaturity.
Yeah, they kind of lean into that. Like their walk-up songs are always funny, and their nicknames are always pretty good as well. So if you haven't got a chance to check it out, you can watch them later today. It should be a big one. Tough one for sure. Right now, let's get to 3 rounds with Mr. Josh Fenwick.
Want to ring the bell? All right. Ding, ding.
Round 1.
All right, fellas, round 1. What's the better month for sports, March or April?
Is it May 1st today, Connor?
Sure.
Damn.
Oh, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I go first. I don't care.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with April then. For me, March has a certain big event, but we got the playoffs getting going in the NHL. The season winding down. They're heading towards the postseason. We're getting there in the NBA as well. It's an off time for the NFL playing wise, but you've got the NFL draft at the end of April every year, which for me and some people, not necessarily Josh Fenwick, a big event. We get really amped up for that 3-day event, and people get out there and take it all in. To me, there's no real downtime in sports because I feel like a huge hypocrite because I always say, oh, best time of the sporting year as we roll through things. But April, with all that's rolling on there, I think it's tops.
Well, March and April, two very similar March
We've
months.
also got the Masters, right? And
Yes.
I think the finale of March Madness. So I'll just that's my last little thing here.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I think the obvious answer is probably April here. As someone who's not a huge March Madness guy, it's fun, but I just don't really find myself caring. So I have to go April by default. I'd love to disagree, but unfortunately I just can't because I frankly don't care about March Madness.
You also have Major League Baseball starting in April.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of
April's loaded. I don't think this is a very fair question.
What do you guys call it? S tier?
April is S tier.
That's at the top. Like it's a pretty great sporting month. No denying it. Now, okay, Josh, defend March for me.
Yep, March Madness. It is literally like the greatest thing of all time. Now, Donovan, I get it. You don't care about it. You're not a basketball guy. Like you get the brackets. This is when it really starts heating up for playoff spots when things are really, really close. Everyone's within a couple points of each other or wins or, depending on like what sport it is, all these things they start heating up. You're getting listen, I don't care about drafts. All right. But you're getting amped up for the draft and NFL free agency happens, right? Because they do free agency before the draft.
Yeah,
so
mid-March.
You got your NFL free agency going on. So you've got movement in all the leagues and spring training in baseball. And if this year you had regular season games being played in March. So you're getting the start of a couple of leagues, the end of a couple of leagues, and then you're really getting amped up for that playoff atmosphere before inevitably your team absolutely rips your heart out and you get the majority of March Madness.
The one thing I will say in regards to March Madness, like it slows down, but those first few days when you're getting like nonstop games, we can't even keep up. That's one of the best sporting days of the year.
The Thursday,
Undoubted.
Friday.
Yeah.
Declan thinks it should either be one national holiday or two, like he should be taking those days off just so he can focus on it.
He should be because we've watched it before. Like, unfortunately, we have one cable box for two TVs. So you're watching the same thing, but we could stream. We usually have two games going on each of our computers.
Mm-hmm.
Are we the most productive in that time? Not so much, but it's a pretty incredible time of the year. So I like March. I love April.
Yeah, I love April. March it's March for me. It's March. There's winter, and April to me when the Masters starts, that's kind of the unofficial start of spring in my opinion. So that is me transitioning from, damn it, we still have a lot of snow on the ground and it's continuing to snow to maybe the snow's starting to melt. That's kind of my thought process on April, and as well, it's just I prefer the events in April. As a non-basketball guy, March Madness, I fill up my bracket and then I forget it exists. So
you might be the only person on the planet that thinks that way.
I don't think so. Our text line's kind of flaming you.
Let's go with
me.
Let's get to round two. We got to move it on here.
Round two.
All right, number 2. In an NFL game, would you rather try to get 1 rush yard or 5 yak yards?
Is this like which one would I survive more?
Which one do you think you have the better chance of getting?
Probably. I know for a fact I can't run a route, so I will say 1 rushing yard because there is no chance I could run a route and somehow, confuse a corner or confuse anybody trying to defend me. The only way I could possibly get 5 yards of yak would be if I got a screen pass and everybody was all falling over. So I will say the rush yard because I think there's a substantially better chance that I actually could somehow pick it up versus trying to confuse a corner and immediately getting clamped.
Like, do I have Lorenzo Neal blocking for me on this rush attempt? Because with that case, I might be taking that. But I think 5 yak yards, let's just say we're doing the old New England Patriots special where we're all, instead of running, or vertically downfield, we're going horizontal. And I get 2 players to run into each other. And it's not PI, it's rubbing. That's what they call it. I get that ball. I think I can turn it up for 5 yards. So, I mean, I don't want to get crunched by a 330-pound defensive tackle or anything like that. So I think you put me outside, let me run a little bit of a drag route, and just try to catch it and turn it upfield immediately. Not 6 yards, but I might get those 5 yak yards.
There is, in my opinion, as someone who has, who can't even run a route well against my friends when I used to, the classic recess football type thing, I can't run a route on a player like on any NFL player. And I definitely know for a fact that if I did catch the ball and there was any sort of contact after I caught the ball, I'm probably dropping the ball. So, and that's not because I can't catch. I just know for a fact I wouldn't be able to withstand the contact. So, hey, good for you, Cons. I know you played a little football growing up. I didn't. So,
2-time provincial touch football champ.
I think there'd be a greater chance that I could leap forwards for 1 yard.
Yeah, I mean, that just, in all likelihood, seems to make more sense probably for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Final round.
And number 3, what is more annoying? The refs being too on the whistle or not making any calls?
The wording, I think, here is important. Annoying. I would probably say the late whistle, because it's like, what took so long? If you don't make the call, you don't make the call, and maybe I'm a little frustrated by it. I'm like, oh, that's a missed call. But annoying, especially like when it's like an offside in hockey and it's like a late call when they enter the zone. Like, what are you doing? Are you fumbling to get the whistle to your mouth? And, we've seen it before where it's like, I intended to blow the whistle, but it came out late. Like that stuff, that whole thing kind of gets me a little annoyed. And especially in the NFL, I already said especially, but more so in the NFL when there's like the 3-second delay after a pass interference and it's like against the Kansas City Chiefs. And, in my mind, I'm like, okay, that was annoying because that seems rigged because it didn't happen until Patrick Mahomes yelled at the ref. Super annoying. So I'm going to say late whistle or flag.
I will go with the 2 on the whistle. My thing with whistles and with reffing is when you don't make any calls, at least I know what the standard is, and I know that basically you have to commit bloody murder to actually draw a flag, draw a penalty, whatever. I look at the 2 on the whistle thing and I say, this is just a debacle of monumental proportions. I want penalties. I want flags. I want stuff to be called. Don't take that the wrong way. It's just, I would much prefer to know what the standard is versus have a bunch of phantom calls. And when someone is 2 on the whistle, then it's, in my opinion, a lot of phantom calls, a lot of stuff going in the wrong direction. And I will take not enough calls over too many calls because of those phantom calls. Phantom calls, and I think we all know in sports, usually when there's a phantom call, it feels like it always finds a way to go in the back of your net for a touchdown, whatever, you name it. I'm always going to lean in the less is more category in terms of bad calls.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, great questions. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk some Pittsburgh Steelers with Alan Saunders. It is The Frenzy here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Beer League Slow Pitch. It's an Alberta summer tradition.
I got shortstop. I'll take pitcher. Yeah, I'm just here for the dugout snacks.
When you're playing on the field, you need serious fuel. And there's only one MVP.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Load up on Alberta's best beef jerky and hit a home run with the team. It's the perfect snack for your summer sports.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Action Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Don't let rookies scratch your custom wheels. Evolve Wheels and Tires uses premium touchless equipment designed to protect your wheel and tire investment. Trust the enthusiasts at Evolve Wheels and Tires, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride. Evolve your experience.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Alberta, this one's for you. Around here, trust takes a few winters. It's why players have known Jackpot City since 1998. Home to hundreds of exciting casino games, live dealer action, and new adventures waiting to be discovered. Jackpot City, nothing beats the original. Please play responsibly, 18 years or older, Alberta only.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca.
The Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440. Brought to you by Wilhuck Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
But I like all of them. Is he good to go? It's 11:20. Welcome back to the Frenzy here on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wilhuck Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at wilhuckbeefjerky.com. Only available in Leduc. Go check them out. Tell them we sent you. Connor Halley, Donovan Paulson, we got Connor Spivak, Josh Fenwick, Cam Tate hanging out in studio today here in West Edmonton Mall. Wednesday, August 26th edition of the show, and we're going to continue our look around the NFL. Took a day off yesterday, talked some fantasy football, but we'll get back onto the gridiron here as we head down to Pittsburgh to look at the Steelers with Alan Saunders. This segment brought to you by elksnation.ca, the new website. Articles, podcasts, and more breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth EE football coverage online, elksnation.ca. Alan, of course, covering the Steelers with Steelers Now. Alan, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm great.
Good. How's camp gone for you so far? I think you guys have officially wrapped up now?
Yeah, all finished with camp. Had the last practice before the last preseason game yesterday. Team's off today, and then they're headed to Buffalo for a preseason finale tomorrow night.
So some fun storylines with the Steelers this year. Obviously, a new head coach and a transition, because we always used to talk about how that at the least the Steelers will probably be 9-8 or 9-7 with Mike Tomlin. Mike McCarthy comes in here, head coach. Who's got a very good track record, won a Super Bowl, of course. The quarterback room is where I want to start, though, because Aaron Rodgers has said this will be the final year. There are guys who I guess could be capable starters in the future, potentially. Mason Rudolph's still there. Will Howard, Drew Aller out of Penn, also looking pretty good, the third-round pick. So I just want to ask you about Aaron Rodgers going into this season, how he's been looking at camp, and then going into next year. who do you think will eventually take over the reins?
Yeah, Rodgers looks great. I think there's been a real energy between him and Mike McCarthy. Obviously, those two guys really familiar with one another from their time back in Green Bay. But I think it's more than the familiarity. It's the way they think about the game is very similar. And, you know, I felt like there was some tension last year where Arthur Smith was the offensive coordinator. And you know what he wants to do. He wants to run the football. He wants to play multiple tight ends. And that's sort of his MO. Mike McCarthy is not that. This is the West Coast offense. They're going to throw the football. They're going to be running play action and dropping back to pass. And that's what Aaron Rodgers wants to be doing. And so I think Aaron looks good. And I think there's just reason to feel like he can be even better this year than he was last year, despite the fact that he's going to turn 43 this December. He still looks his arm is still fantastic. I mean, he's throwing out there with these young guys, and everybody's very goo-goo gaga over the young quarterbacks here in Pittsburgh. The fan base has already picked their favorites, and they're all, watching that closely this preseason. But I'll tell you what, the old guy still got it. I mean, he's got a better arm than either of the young players still at this age, which is pretty fascinating to watch. As far as who takes over next year, I think that's a very unsettled question at this point. Drew Aller has looked pretty good in 2 preseason games. Probably not as consistent as you'd think based on that over the course of training camp. Will Howard has been pretty solid as well, and a guy they like a lot after winning a national championship at Ohio State. And I wouldn't necessarily rule out the idea of them adding more to that group. I don't think they're going to rest with just those 2 guys either by the time we get to, let's say, this point next year.
So just want to kind of stick with that whole relationship right now, because you mentioned like there are all those young quarterbacks in the room. In the past, we had heard, I don't know if it was, anything really that seriously bad between Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love when he was drafted, obviously, to be the heir apparent to the starting position. But how have you seen Aaron Rodgers interacting? Is he working with the young guys, kind of helping him out a little bit?
He's their coach. Like that, he has spent so much time with. He spent a lot of time with Will Howard last year. He spent a lot of time with Drew Aller this year. He is in their ear constantly. He hasn't played in the preseason games. He's been on the headset, cracking jokes, suggesting plays. There was a big play that Will Howard had on a 4th down in his first preseason game, and he said Aaron was the one that was on the mic that said, "Hey, call this one for him. He's good at that one." He's very, very invested in these young guys. And, very famously, he didn't get that at the beginning of his career when he was drafted and sat behind Brett Favre for 2 seasons. And I think he's made it a real point as on his way out, first with Jordan Love in Green Bay and now again in Pittsburgh here, to be as good of a teammate and as a mentor as he can for the young quarterbacks that he shares a room with.
So to jump over to the wide receiver room, in particular, obviously, big acquisition in Michael Pittman Jr. He's the addition, and then they draft Jeremy Bernard as well. But what do you expect out of this wide receiver room, in particular Pittman and Metcalf? Because what is the dynamic going to be like between these two? Obviously, 2 good number 1 and number 2 receivers, but do you expect this to be like one clear-cut guy, or do you think this is kind of be like a 1-2, 1A, 1B type punch?
I expect Metcalf to still get a lot of the target share, but what I think stands out is that now it's going to be so much more difficult for defenses to just take him away. It was pretty easy for teams to double cover him or to roll coverage towards him and make him not an option last year. And now I think the Steelers have the good situation where I think they would like for DK Metcalf to get the bulk of the targets in their passing offense. But if teams are going to dedicate significant resources to taking him away, they have other ways they can hurt you now. And if that's not going to be something that's going to stymie their passing offense, they'll be fine with letting 2 guys run cardio with DK Metcalf all day and throwing the ball to Pittman and Jeremy Bernard and Roman Wilson instead. I think that's a really big difference in this offense from last year, where they had a hard time getting the ball to DK Metcalf as much as they wanted to. Now I think they'll either be able to, or if they can't, they'll be able to hurt teams in other ways.
To jump over to the running back room here with Dowdle and Warren, do you see Dowdle is kind of the early downs, rush it up the middle guy, and then Warren kind of on the passing downs, or how's this going to break down?
Those are certainly their strengths, but Mike McCarthy's made it a pretty consistent point that he doesn't want to be limited on his play calling based on who's in the game. So like, they haven't broken down reps that way at all to this point. It's just been alternating series or plays or whatever it is. I do think if you get into an obvious situation, you need 1 inch, probably go with Rico Dowdle. If it's 3rd and 30, you probably go with Jalen Warren. But I think by and large, he wants to keep teams guessing and not sort of let on what he's thinking based on which running back is in the game. And I think it'll be a pretty even split, at least to start.
We're discussing the Steelers right now with Alan Saunders of Steelers Now here on The Frenzy. Halley and Paulson with you. Looking at that offensive line, we know that's kind of the big deal with all offenses here in the NFL, keeping your quarterback upright, creating holes for your running backs. As a unit, what have you thought from the group?
Yeah, they're young and growing, and I think they certainly need to be better than they were last year. And that's a big deal. They've invested 3 first-round draft picks, a second-round draft pick, and a 4th-round draft pick on that unit in the last 3 draft classes. If they don't come out of that with an above-average offensive line, that's going to be a pretty significant failure. I wouldn't say they were above average last year. They've got a shot to do that this year, but they're really counting on guys like Zach Frazier and Troy Fautanu and Mason McCormick taking pretty significant steps forward this season. And I think that's a real unanswered question as to how that's going to go. And you know, considering Rodgers' age and, you know, not anywhere near as mobile as they used to be, a big thing for this team this season. If they can't protect him, they're going to struggle on offense. I do think it starts with the offensive line, and they really need it to be a good unit this year.
Alan, we have our young intern, Connor Spivak, who's a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan. He wanted to hop in and ask you a quick question here.
Bring it on, Connor.
All right, so the Steelers have signed most of their 2023 draft picks to some pretty big contracts, but they have one glaring hole in Joey Porter Jr., and there's been reports that he hasn't had a contract even given to him yet. How do you see this kind of situation playing out with him?
Yeah, they've been talking, and I don't think they're, at this point, all that close to a deal. That could change rapidly, as these things do. I'm not quite sure what exactly the holdup is, but the two sides don't seem to be in alignment on a deal. I'm a little surprised by that. I thought Joey Porter was extremely good last year and has continued to get better every season since they drafted him in the 2nd round out of Penn State. And, you know, I just think his sort of status of as a local guy, grew up here, his dad played for the team, went to school down the road. He's a real success story at a position they haven't historically been particularly good at drafting and developing. And I'm a little surprised that they haven't found a way to come up with a deal with him so far. And I think it'll be a bit of a black mark if they aren't able to get one. The Steelers don't negotiate during the season, very famously. That's their rule. So they're down to about, 2.5 weeks here to make something happen with Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're 2 weeks away from the start of the season on the 9th, so it's going to be here before we even know it. So when you look at Porter Jr. here, where do you think he slots in with the average annual value of his contract? We've seen cornerbacks get paid this year with Devin Witherspoon, Trent McDuffie, Denzel Ward, north of $30 million. Like, where do you think he would slot in?
Yeah, that $30 million mark feels about right, or maybe a little bit less than that, depending on the guarantees of the contract. There's a weird big gap in the cornerback contracts where there's 3 or 4 guys clustered right around $30 million, but then there's all the way down to 25 is the next deal. I think he probably belongs in that in-between space there, behind guys like Sauce Gardner and Derek Stingley. But, sometimes the guy who signs his deal last wins, and the Steelers generally like to operate with higher salary and lower guarantees on their contracts, so that might get them up near $30 million. But I think that's a pretty fair deal for a guy who I think had one of the best seasons of any corner in the league last year.
Alan Saunders joining us here on The Frenzy, taking a look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another guy who's been outrageous his entire career for the Steelers, when healthy, has been T.J. Watt. Last year, the sack production dropped off a little bit. How's he been looking so far?
It looks good, looks healthy. They have a lot of depth in that room. and the ability. I was just talking with Jack Sawyer, who's their 4th-round pick out of Ohio State last year. He's a 4th edge rusher on this team. And I think on any other team, people would be real excited about the future of Jack Sawyer. And he's sort of an afterthought at times because of how good the other 3 guys are. I think the real thing about that depth is they don't need T.J. Watt to play 90% of the snaps anymore. They can be more selective in how they use him. They can let some other guys take some physical abuse, try to keep him healthy, try to keep him fresh for the playoffs. He's missed 2 of their last 4 playoff games. I think that's a big part of why they haven't had success in the postseason. There was another game where he was playing, but he was banged up. And so I think the idea is keep T.J. Watt on his feet, keep him healthy, keep him a little bit more rested, and maybe you have a better player in December and January than they've had the last couple of years at that position.
So we've got the preseason finale for the Steelers tomorrow, taking on the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Are there any positional battles you'll be keeping your eye on in this one?
Yeah, the number 3 running back is one that's definitely come to mind. Caleb Johnson was a 3rd-round pick 2 years ago and has not really lived up to that billing. There's a couple of guys, Travis Homer, a veteran, and Lou Nichols, former undrafted rookie out of Central Michigan, is sort of angling his way into that battle. That's one to watch. The backup safety, that 7th-round rookie Robert Spears-Jennings out of Oklahoma has got a ton of playing time this preseason. He's kind of winning that job. I don't know that he's really won it yet, but he's been leading the pack there. And then right tackle, Max Ahanator, the 1st-round pick, has sort of theoretically been in a competition with Dylan Cook for that right tackle job. But Ahanator's missed a couple weeks with a neck injury, didn't play in either of the first 2 preseason games. It's getting awfully late for him to make a push, but this is going to be his big shot to show what he can do, and we'll see if he's able to take advantage of it.
We all know the Steelers' coaching history. It's incredible. I'm just looking it up here. So Chuck Noll coaching 342 regular season games. Bill Cowher, 240. Mike Tomlin, 309. Winning Super Bowls and all the success that they had. Pretty big shoes to fill for Mike McCarthy, a guy who was from the area and won a Super Bowl. Thought he did a good job with the Dallas Cowboys. Did you like the hire at the time, and what have you seen from him that maybe stands out as a new head coach?
I thought the hire was fine. It was safe. I didn't love their process. They didn't talk to any other experienced head coaches other than him, which I felt was a bit of a miss, and probably would have had some more confidence in the decision if they had. But I think he's pretty safe. You know, I don't think Mike McCarthy is going to suddenly forget how to coach. He will probably be a pretty good coach for the Steelers. Is he going to be, some sort of ascendant paradigm shifting talent like their last 3 head coaching hires were? No, not at 62 years old. That's an unreasonable expectation. But he was pretty good in Dallas, and I expect that he can be pretty good in Pittsburgh. I guess the question is, can he be good enough to get a team that hasn't won a playoff game since 2016 and has struggled to have consistent success on offense over the hump and doesn't have, with respect to Aaron Rodgers' past, a current status, top flight quarterback. So I think it's a tough job. I'm not sure he's going to accomplish what the Pittsburgh standard of success is, which is lifting the Lombardi Trophy. I think that's a pretty big ask, but I don't expect it to go extremely poorly at all.
And Alan, just before we let you go, we know the division quite tough. If teams stay healthy, the Ravens have a good team, new head coach coming in. The Bengals need Joe Burrow healthy. How do you think the division will play out this season?
Yeah, the Bengals had a big injury scare yesterday with Jamar Chase going down in practice. So, the whole division watching that one unfold. It's very interesting because I think the Bengals and Ravens have both underachieved their talent level over the last few years, and the Steelers have overachieved it. The Steelers won this division last year. They weren't anywhere near the best team on paper. Will that continue? It's a bunch of different variables. You got a new head coach in Pittsburgh, as we talked about. You got a new head coach in Baltimore and a new offensive coordinator for Lamar Jackson. Cincinnati, they're running it back, and with the hopes that they can finally all stay healthy and to have that dynamic offense all on the field together. We'll see if it happens. It's the only thing that looks like a sure thing is that the Browns are a mess. And that means I think that the other 3 teams should all feel like they can win this division. They should all feel like they're playoff teams. And you can get 3 teams from one division to make the playoffs, but usually it's pretty tough. Usually somebody ends up disappointed by those expectations. So I think it'll be a tough battle as always in the AFC North, and you kind of know who the contenders are just to see how it's going to play out.
Cannot wait for it to happen. Alan, thanks so much for joining us on the show today. Really appreciate it, and we'll try to get you on again during the season.
Yeah, maybe it'll come down to the last play of the season once again. That was fun last year. Let's just do it again.
No stress at all. There you go. That is Alan Saunders covering the Pittsburgh Steelers. Appreciate him joining us on the show. And honestly, I think that absolutely nailed it with the Mike McCarthy hire. Safe. It wasn't, wasn't too risky. You got a guy who can coach a team. He can be a good coach. Will he be the coach? Like, if he coached as long as some of these other Steelers head coaches, he'd be coaching until he's 80. I don't think that's going to happen, but a safe coaching hire for sure. I also love the fact that we're talking about that division and we didn't even mention the Browns. It's the three teams and then Cleveland. We'll see how it plays out. I have said on record, I like the build of that Cleveland team, except quarterback. That part, I think they could probably use some work on. And we'll see how it plays out for the Browns. But it's going to be fun when it all gets going. We're just 2 weeks away from opening night in the NFL. We will take a commercial break. When we come back, more of your texts, 1-833-401-1440. We'll tell you what's coming up on The Lowdown and the Jason Greger Show and more. It is The Frenzy, brought to you by Wilhock Beef Jerky.
Know why people love working at GS Construction? It's honest work. It's work that needs to be done. And we're really good at what we do. That's why GS Construction has been in business for over 50 years. We won't be wearing a top hat and tails, more like hard hat and boots, because we're heading underground to keep the water flowing in and out of your homes and businesses in Edmonton. GS Construction is currently looking for experienced pipe layers and top men. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country. Crispy, caramelized edges, a pillowy, airy center. Meet the new Papa John's Pan Pizza. Made with Parmesan and Romano cheeses, Papa John's special garlic sauce, and Italian seasoning, all baked directly into the bottom of the crust for a signature golden finish and crispy, savory crunch. Grab a medium pan pizza for just $16.99 today at your local Papa John's. Order now in the app or at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant in the Silent Ice Center, just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails in a stylish, modern atmosphere. Perfect for a casual meal or a special night out. Summit offers a refined experience where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Make Summit Restaurant your destination tonight.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Recently, our company softball team lost a big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
Here they come. The boys in the bright white sports car, waving their arms in the air. Who do they think they are? And where they get down car.
Because 60 minutes is just about enough. The Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440. Presented by Wilhock Beef Jerky.
It's 11:42. Welcome back to The Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Brought to you by Wilhock Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky. That last bag that I hid yesterday to make sure the morning show could have some, just dwindling away here, piece at a time. Go check it out. The thing I'll tell you is, like, a lot of people missed out on Wilhock. So when you introduce someone new to it every time, they're like, damn, that was good. I think the latest would be Low Tide's wife, who actually Trent sent a bag home with her or for her. Did it make it there? I don't know. Low Tide could have cracked it open on the car ride home. We don't know for sure, but he said to me when he walked in, damn, that is good beef jerky. So trust Low Tide, trust me, trust everyone. WillhockBeefJerky.com. Coming up next, it is the Lowdown with Low Tide. They'll be joined by Kevin McCurdy. I believe it is Declan NCAA, as they'll talk some college sports as well. I'll get to their NHL Royal Sports Rumors segment. And a lot of fun back and forth. Then on the Jason Gregor Show today, I'm getting excited about this one. When I found out I was going to host for 2 weeks, I thought I want to try to do some different sports. Like last week, we had a couple members from the Edmonton Elks cheer team on. Today, we got Mick Ozzie from Edmonton Cricket TV and the Alberta cricket team. A couple upsets lately. So we're going to talk a little cricket. Now, hand up, I am very unfamiliar with the sport. So it's going to be like rookie level questions, and we're going to let Mick handle it all. But we're going to learn something today. Also, Tyler Yaremchuk from DFO Edmonton. We've got Strutty, Spec, the roundtable stats of the day, Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. I'm also going to try to get someone from the NFL circle to hop on the program as well. So lots to get to. Maybe we'll talk some CFL. Also, that'll be from 2 till 6. And then at 6 o'clock, we'll head out to Toronto on the AM dial. Jays and Royals rematch. Jays trying to make it not 2 straight losses against KC, who's kind of on fire right now. And if you're listening on the FM, or sorry, not the FM, the stream, sounds like FM, you'll be having Fox Sports Radio. So keep it locked here on Sports 1440. I just saw a post here on social media from Buck Report NHL. It was the U.S. national games for the upcoming season. So 72 games on TNT, 100 on ESPN networks, 15 ABC, 38 ESPN, and plus ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, Hulu has some as well. The Edmonton Oilers will be on the national level, or on the national screen down in the South, on 8 occasions. The Sens, Canucks, Flames are at 0. Winnipeg gets 1. Boston and Pittsburgh lead the way, 20 each, which I can get. Like, you want Sidney Crosby, the Bruins, a pretty big franchise, big draw. The Minnesota Wild are 17. The Blackhawks, 17. That's more than the Colorado Avalanche, which is a little weird to me. The defending Stanley Cup champions, 15 occasions. You will see them. The Lightning, 14. The Kraken, 3. The Columbus Blue Jackets, the lowest for an American team. They'll only be on the national spotlight twice, with the Preds being on 3 times. So if you're a big Steven Stamkos fan, you won't see them quite as much. But for the Edmonton Oilers, in terms of Canadian teams, the most. Which still seems low to me, Donovan. Like, anytime you want to grow the game, you want to be on the big screen down south, you want to have the best players. Connor McDavid should be on, I would say, just as much as the Boston Bruins, if not close.
I would say he should be on more than the Boston Bruins, because the Boston Bruins roster stinks. It's not very good. Now, they'll probably outperform it because they're the Boston Bruins and they have voodoo magic. However, if you want to grow your game, you probably want to watch Connor McDavid and have people. I mean, hell, if you remember back, last week? When newly minted DFO Edmonton put out that little clip of Connor McDavid doing his crossovers backwards and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you had, I don't remember.
Chad Ochocinco.
Yeah, it was Ocho and I forget who the other one was. But they're commenting about, like, what is this? Tell me this in football terms. Or, they're actually commenting on watching this guy because they can tell, like, you can tell instantly they've never seen this guy play before. And they're going, oh my God, this guy's unbelievable.
Darius Butler, I believe.
Yes, I think you're right on that one.
Yeah, former NFLer, Pat McAfee show.
It was like, guys, what are we doing here? If you want to grow your game, show the best players.
And like, certain teams make sense. Like, I get the Canucks, I get the Sens, I get the Flames not getting one. It's down south. They don't have maybe the most marketability. There's still some omissions. The Rangers get 18. Like, it's the original 6 are going to get their love. Sidney Crosby's going to get his love. The Blackhawks 17 times when the defending Stanley Cup champion Carolina Hurricanes are only 12. That's a little weird to me.
That's not weird to me because Carolina's not a draw.
Still defending Stanley Cup champions. I mean, you could give them their due. There's some storylines on that team. You got Raw the Bod.
Yeah, it's Carolina. They have no fans.
They do have fans.
They have some fans.
They
but
have fans.
They don't have very many. It's like the Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
It's a very select crew.
So why not grow it? Everyone knows the Boston Bruins already.
I don't think you really. I think if they could grow it, they would grow it. But I don't truly think you really can grow it much.
I think you could. I think kids are bandwagoners. They hop on all the time. Market.
If they haven't hopped on after a Stanley Cup win or just prior to a Stanley Cup win, when are they going to hop on?
Well, they would if they were on TV a little bit more. I'm just saying. I'd rather see the defending Stanley Cup champions than Connor Bedard and Connor Bedard and Connor Bedard.
I would too. However, well, it's based on who's going to make the most money, right?
Yeah. Well,
and Chicago's a way bigger market in terms of the NHL than Carolina is.
If I have to watch Chicago play Minnesota on a Tuesday night, I don't know. I might check out.
I would probably check out myself because the Chicago Blackhawks are going to be brutal.
Now, you give me the Hurricanes and the Panthers. I'm checking in. Carolina gets the Panthers, Florida get 15 games. Probably a fair spot. Ovi and the Caps get 17.
Fair.
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, outside of McDavid, Draisaitl, if we're talking like the most marketable athletes, especially down south, I thought maybe, and hate me for saying this, maybe the captain of the U.S. Olympic team, you'd want him a little more than 3 times. And there's also a lot of Leafs fans down south too. So I thought they might get more than 3.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I thought for sure they'd get more than 3 too. And for all of you saying, Toronto's the center of the hockey universe, they're the center of the universe. Well, this is showing you they're not. But yeah, they should probably have more Leafs games on if we're being real and authentic here. Is it funny that they don't have that many? Yes.
Leafs fans in Canada will get theirs, though. Like, they're not worried about it, of course.
Of course not.
Flyers get 19 as well. Yeah, you make the playoffs, it gets boosted a little bit. I think there's also that East Coast thing. The West Coast teams don't get quite as much love. Seattle gets 7. The Ducks get 7 as well. Utah Mammoth, 7.
Seattle gets 7?
Yeah.
Seattle shouldn't get 1.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Who would I'd rather watch Gavin McKenna than Seattle.
I would rather watch Paint Dry than Seattle. That's maybe a little step too far. However, they are the worst team to watch in the NHL, and it's not even close. Them and the LA Kings, they make me want to just... I'll be honest. If there's a Seattle Kraken game on and it's the only game on TV, my face is not leaving my phone if I have to watch it. Otherwise, if there's anything else on, hell, if there's even like a network made-for-TV movie, I will watch it over the Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, I will say, like, with the Kings, Panarin, Byfield, Kempe, they could do something.
Oh, of course.
Drew Doughty might punch someone, right? That could be fun. But when you look at the Kraken, it's like, ooh, Matty Beniers hasn't been the same since he kind of burst on the scene. Is there anyone else that really gets you going on that team?
Me and Walks have had this talk so many times on pre and post. We actually like a lot of the players on that roster. Unfortunately, there's not a single player who's a top line player. Their entire team is made of second and third line players, which sounds okay, but then you actually have to score goals to win the game. So they can't really do that.
They're like the receiver rooms we've talked about. A lot of good number 2 receivers. That's different in football because it's one position. That's their whole forward group.
They really are. Their offense is oddly similar to the Pittsburgh Steelers receiver room. They don't have someone as good as DK Metcalf, but also at the same time, like, is DK Metcalf a top 20 receiver in your eyes? Even a top 25?
Right now, hard to say.
Like, DK Metcalf had 815 yards last year. Like, I don't really care. Like, DK Metcalf's not a game breaker in my eyes. He's a physical freak, but I don't know. I'm not a DK Metcalf guy. It's like, wow, I'm so scared of the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. It's really going to do a lot. It's the same thing as this Seattle Kraken team. It's just uninspired.
Other news and notes today. I don't know if you remember Curtis Hamilton, Donovan. He was drafted by the Oilers back in 2010, second round. He was named the new GM of the Kelowna Rockets. His dad had done that job for 35 years.
Oh, wow.
So he takes over. He played 4 years with the OKC Barons back when they were the Oilers affiliate. Played one game in the NHL. I think he had a fighting major. After that was playing in Czech and all over Europe, and now comes back. From what I saw, it looks like he took a business, sports management program, and now going to take over the family business as the new GM of the Kelowna Rockets. So congrats to Curtis Hamilton. That's pretty cool.
Very cool.
No lie, I had high hopes for him as an Oiler. It didn't really pan out.
What other guys did you have high hopes for as an Oiler that didn't pan out? I feel like there's a list about a mile long.
Yeah. Tyler Pitlick, kind of in that era.
Tyler Pitlick
was another
a fun
one. And he showed he could do it, but it couldn't be consistent.
Because he got hurt all the time. You remember Mitch Moroz?
Absolutely. Great Oil King. Great Oil King. That was after Milan Lucic had a lot of success, and teams were trying to find the next one.
Yeah.
Henrik Samuelsson was another one. They brought him in, but the Coyotes drafted him. That didn't pan out.
Basically everybody from the Decade of Darkness, if we think about it, actually.
David Musil.
Yeah, there's another good one.
He was on the Oil Kings, but he was drafted as a member of the Vancouver Giants. Geez. Dylan Simpson. Marty Gurnett was the guy I hoped for. That guy laid some of the cleanest hip checks you'll ever see. Ooh, that era. I'm trying to just scroll through here. I mean, the one that I think everybody would see him have such success in the AHL and then come to the NHL would be Anton Lander.
Yep.
Still played 215 games in the NHL, so it wasn't like he had a bad career or anything.
You want a funny exercise? Go back and look and search up like 2012 or 2013 Oilers prospects. Basically, everybody's a bust.
2012, Yakupov, Mraz, Jujhar Khaira had an okay career. Sharkov, Eric Gustafsson, not in Edmonton.
But he was somewhere after that.
The 2013 draft, they had a lot of picks, and outside of Darnell Nurse, like Bogdan Yakimov, people were hyped for because he's a big dude. Anton Slepyshev, Greg Chase was a very good WHL player. Like for the Calgary Hitmen, he played the role so well as an Oil Kings rival. I got a chance to watch them quite a bit, and I hoped he could make that transition into the NHL. Just unfortunately didn't happen. But you're right. Outside of like the can't miss picks, not a lot there.
They missed on everybody. The only ones they actually hit on, I guess, would be Jordan Eberle and Oscar Klefbom, but those are still first-round picks. Everybody else was an absolute just swing and a miss, strike three.
All right. That music means we're done. Up next, Let On Flow Tide, followed by The Gregor Show. Make sure you keep it locked on Sports 1440. I think we're going to get to Connor Spivak with a Sports 1440 update brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. Kick off the second half of the season with a 5-game ticket pack and get a $25 voucher. Get your half-season pass today at goelks.com/tickets. Edmonton Elks, our city, our year.
Blue Jays in action tonight as they look to avoid a second straight series loss as they take on the Royals. First pitch goes at 5:07. We'll have that one for you on the AM feed following the conclusion of the Jason Gregor Show at 6 p.m. Other action in the MLB today, the Guardians look to sweep the Angels. The Mariners hope to sweep the Phillies. The Orioles take on the Cardinals. And in the nightcap, the Athletics host the Twins at 7:05. The New Orleans Pelicans are signing Canadian Benedict Mather into a 2-year, $16 million deal after the Clippers withdrew from his $8.8 million qualifying offer. The SEC follows in the footsteps of the Big Ten as they have announced they won't permit their schools to roster players who have spent time in the NFL and NBA. This comes following LSU agreeing to add 2 undrafted rookies who spent time with NFL teams at training camps. Coming up, Slow Down with Low Tide, I'm Connor Spivak, and that was your Sports 1440 update.